All right. Well, so speaking of PayPal, Luke,
Sorry.
let's talk about that. So I'm curious to know, is your perspective on crypto, having come from Built PayPal, that like essentially the problem of digital money is generally solved by things like PayPal and WeChat Pay, or do you think that the crypto story will play out differently? Because I definitely get met with a lot of sort of skepticism of like, okay, we already have global payment networks that are much easier to use than cryptocurrency. Again, sort of that's sort of the what's the point question.
Well, many people don't know this, but the mission of PayPal was to create a global currency that was independent of interference by these corrupt cartels of banks and governments that were just debasing their currencies. And we succeeded at building something very economically very powerful, enabled many small businesses. We're super proud of it, but we never achieved the mission. And I don't think it is solved by PayPal, precisely for the reason that you brought in the Venezuela case, where PayPal is simply too centralized and too attached to the big financial institutions, Visa, MasterCard, the ACH networks, the SWIFT network, and it will do whatever it needs to do to keep those institutions happy. I remember the days when we were on the verge of being shut down many times because of our innovative products, and we learned to play. Yeah. And by doing that, as soon as there is someone interacting in some area that might be perceived as sketchy or moving currency in a way that could cause fraud, PayPal just shuts it down. It freezes the money, or it pulls back from that market. It doesn't solve the problem. And I think with its current success and the current management, they're not going to go push the mission of the company forward. That was what we wanted 20 years ago. So somebody else has to do it. Not to mention that it was the wrong crypto foundation, but that's a different story.
And so why didn't you guys foresee this and build something that would solve the problem?
Well, we tried. When we were building the company, initially Max Levchin, he started working on his thesis in cryptography. He was my co-founder at PayPal. He researched Chaumian blind anonymous digital currencies, and then we that didn't think that was going to quite work. It was too centralized, and it wasn't quite anonymous. Then we eventually settled on an electronic checking system, and there was some compromise in the centralization of that system. Clearing had to be done at a central point, but I think we just never figured out quite the right algorithm, and we were pressured by investors to just get the product out. This is part of the problem of taking investment money prematurely. I wonder what would have happened if Max just been able to sit around and brainstorm and work on the idea, and we could all talk about the mission. And maybe we could have figured out an algorithm that was more like the modern crypto algorithms, which I'm so grateful for the creators of Ethereum and Bitcoin and the new ones like Reserve for going out and trying to build the right thing before going and pushing for great adoption. And that was just the pressure we had from trying to be successful, the pressure we had from investors. And I hope that in the investment in crypto, the same thing doesn't happen.
Thanks.